thank the Business Roundtable for their leadership and continued focus on this issue, and also recognize that the department really sees this public health preparedness as a shared responsibility for businesses of all sizes, and recognizes that they play a critical role in our success.
Thanks, Bridger. And now we'd be happy to take your questions. Brenda?
Thank you. If you are on the phone and want to ask a question about Business Roundtable's 2009 flu season survey, please press star 1. To withdraw your request, press star 2. Once again, to ask a question, press star 1. One moment, please. We do request that you limit your question to the 2009 flu season survey, and we will now take your questions. Mr. Chris Leonard, Associated Press.
Hello, yes, Chris Leonard at the AP, and I think what I'm most interested in is sick leave, and I'm wondering if the survey asked businesses if they've looked at whether or not they need to increase sick leave for employees who might get sick and employees who might have to stay home with sick children. And secondly, I'm wondering if you've asked what the economic impact of increased sick leave might be on the companies.
Thanks, Chris. It's a good question. Of course, every company has a different set of situations, whether it's a pharmaceutical company, a transportation company, a service company, a manufacturing company, and most of those decisions are driven by the individual company's policy and local responsibility to do what's in the best interest of their employees and their families. And so each one of those would be an individual question. I will tell you, in the case of the Brinks company, we're in the service business, so we have 8,000 employees in the United States that are interacting with customers and their employees all over the country. And so our approach is going to be a very aggressive support of vaccination, making sure that the H1N1 vaccination is provided to our people and our employees, which will protect them, their families, and more importantly, and just as importantly, our customers and communities that we operate in.
Chris, is John Castellani. One of the questions did focus on how the companies are getting information to their employees, and the companies did tell us that they are reiterating their policies both as they stand and how they would be modified on sick leave, on working remotely, on travel, on the whole host of human resource-related issues. But as Michael said, we know they're communicating, we know they're focusing on the issue. It will be company-specific.
And broadly, do you anticipate that companies will have to change their policies in terms of boosting sick leave, or is that something that's just going to have to wait and be seen?
I think it'll have to be we'll have to wait and see the impact. It depends on the impact on the specific company and the geographical areas that they serve. Mm-hmm. But certainly, as Michael said, as in the case of Brinks, in the case of all of our companies, the combination is both business continuity and the health and well-being of our employees and their families. So they're balancing both. Both are important.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Once again, to ask a question, press star 1. And the next question is from Tim Devaney, Washington Times. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you. Again, this is Tim Devaney with the Washington Times. And I was curious, how much are companies spending on precautionary measures, and how does that compare to the cost of losing employees and them being absent?
Well, needless to say, it would be similar to the last response we just had, Kim, and it'll be company-specific. Needless to say, keeping the economic engine of this economy running, especially during these difficult times, is a primary focus for all members of the Business Roundtable. And each company will have its own response to tailor to make sure that proper balance between maintaining, continuing supplying our business and protecting our families and communities is properly balanced.
Tim, it's John. Just to add to what Michael said, the one thing we have learned in our focus on healthcare and the whole issue of healthcare reform is that it is much more cost effective for us as companies and for us as individuals and our employees and their families to focus on wellness and prevention than having to treat a condition. So our companies have, in all aspects, including this one, very strong focuses on wellness and prevention, and you can see some of those at our website if you'd like to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question, press star 1.
All right,
And
Brenda.
we do have a question. Chris Leonard, your line is open, sir.
I'm sorry to double dip, I guess you'd say, but I figure as long as I'm bothering you. Have you been able to gauge, I know a lot of people are asking about this, but have you been able to gauge any sort of overall impact economically to the business community?
Well, it will all depend on how severe this flu season is and the H1N1 outbreak is, and that's why so early in the process here, the coordination between the Department of Homeland Security, the business community, and our employees is just so critical. And we will continue to interact together. I think it's very, very important that our people utilize the resources that are in place, such as www.flu.government and the Center for Disease Control, and even the Business Roundtables Family Disaster Preparedness Checklist, and for updates on how to respond to this in the future.
Thanks.
There are no other questions.
Great. The full findings following the call. And we thank you for your participation. And Brenda, with that, we'll end the call.
Thank you. This concludes Business Roundtable's briefing on the results of the 2009 flu season survey. A transcript of this call will be available tomorrow. Please visit www.businessroundtable.org for more information. Thank you. You may disconnect your phone lines at this time.